Welcome back, it's Lucky Piano, and today in Lesson 2 we're going to cover how to learn the left hand on the piano by ear. So in Lesson 1 we found out that the right hand is going to play the singer's melody. In the left hand, however, we're going to play the chords which accompany the right hand. Now, how do I figure out these chords? Well, it is done partially by ear and partially by theory, or using the right hand as guidance as to figure out which chords you need to play. Now, if you really struggle with this, to be honest, learning what the chords are in the left hand isn't that useful. It's a useful skill, but it's not a necessary skill. Why do I say this? It's because there are plenty of websites out there which give you the chords. One of them is ultimateguitar.com. If you go to ultimateguitar.com, the reason why it's so popular is because it gives you the chords to the song that you want to sing so that you can play it on the guitar and sing along with it. Well, we're doing a similar thing here, right? We're essentially singing with our right hand, and with our left hand, we're playing the chords on the guitar. If you use that analogy, then you can kind of see why Ultimate Guitar becomes so helpful. If it gives you all the chords, then all you have to do is figure out what notes to play from those chords to accompany your right hand, and then you can practically play any song by ear. But that's not the true way of learning how to play piano by ear, because if you want to play piano by ear, you want to do everything by ear, not just the right hand. So, today I'm going to tell you how to learn the chords, or figure out the chords, in the left hand. But again, if you really struggle, don't be ashamed to use Ultimate Guitar to actually help you figure out what these chords are to begin with. And if anything, try to practice figuring out the chords on your own, and then to double check, go to ultimateguitar.com. There are still times where I do this. For example, in Bohemian Rhapsody, because there were so many chords, I decided that, I can't learn this on my own, and I used ultimateguitar.com. And now it's my favorite cover to play. So, no shame in it at all. But yeah, let's figure out how to play the left hand. Today, the example that I'm going to use to show you how to figure out the left hand is Justin Bieber's Sorry. So, here's how it goes. Something like that. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is look at what the right hand's playing. The very first note that I play is at A. Wow, I can't believe I missed that. Anyways, with the A, there are a couple of chords that we can play. Think back to the fundamental series. A chord, we want to refer to it as a triad. So now let's find all the triads that have A in it. Well, the first one's pretty obvious, it's A major. We have A in the root note. But there's another one with A in the root note, that's A minor. Now what if A is the third note of our triad? Well, we have F major. We can't have F minor because F minor does not have A in it. It has A flat. Okay, so there's only one chord with A in the third note. What about in the fifth note? We have D major and we have D minor. So now we have 5 chords to choose from. How do we, get down to just one? Well, we can first do so by estimating, is this a happy chord or is this a sad chord? In other words, is this a major chord or is this a minor chord? There are plenty of times where you're going to guess that it's, oh, this sounds pretty happy, but then it turns out to be a minor chord. That's fine. It happens all the time. I still make the same mistakes. But at least it will save you a bit of time to go through to the right type of chord first than to go through all of them, because there are a lot of chords to figure out. So, this sounds pretty happy to me, so I'm going to assume it's a major chord. So now let's wipe out all the minor chords. Now we're left with A major, F major, and D major. So, which one of these chords is correct? Now you can skip straight ahead and just play each chord to figure it out, but I want to do this in a more sort of logical manner. Let's figure this out by playing the next note. It's an E. Now which one of these 3 chords has an E in it? There's only one of them, A major. A, C sharp, E. F major doesn't have an E, and neither does D major. So, from this, let's assume that the chord that we're going to play with our melody is A major. Let's try it. That actually sounded pretty good, but there was something slightly off by it. I'm not too sure what it is yet, so let's just play it by beats in the left hand. Did you notice what went wrong? Well, the thing that went wrong there is that I played the A major for 6 beats. Now think back to the Fundamental Series video where I talked about timing and how chords basically loop around every 4 beats. So because I played 6 beats there, and I didn't change the chord once, that's why it sounded slightly off. So let's just play the first 4 beats then. That part actually sounded okay. So what was wrong was that I needed to change chord on the 5th beat, because that's looping around to the next measure of 4 beats. So let's figure out what the next chord is. Now you can repeat the same process as I did before, where you first found the note to refer to, in this case it would be B, or, and then after that you go on to, is it a major or minor? Which chords are there? Let's eliminate the chords. Let's go to another note to see which chords have these notes. You can do that, but it's a rather tedious process, and there are other ways that you can make this entire process faster. Because you see, with each scale, there are 4 chords that are extremely important to that scale. So for A major, it is A major, D major, E major, and F minor. Now, how did I get these 4 chords? Well, there are 4 chords that are essential to every single scale, and then these are the 4 chords. The first one is the root chord, so with the root note as the starting note of the scale. So in A major, it's A major. Sound kind of stupid, but makes sense. The next important chord is the 4th note of the scale. So A, B, C, D. D is our 4th note, and the important chord here is A major 4th. Actually, yeah, let's just refer to a major 4th by now, even though it's not technically correct in musical theory. The next one is the major 5th. In this case, we have E as our major 5th. And then finally, the last one is the relative minor. And the relative minor is a minor chord of the 6th note of the scale. In this case, it is F sharp minor. So, from here, we know that the 4 most important chords to A major are A, D major, E major, and F sharp minor. And this is the same for any sort of scale. So for example, for C, the most important chords for C are C, F, G, and A minor. So once you figure out a chord in a song, it's generally a good idea to write down what its 4 most important chords are. So again, root, major, 4th note, major, 5th note, major, and 6th note, minor. Awesome, so now let's go on to the chord change. We have B, which is a note that happens on the chord change. Which one of the 4 important chords that I just played has B in it? There's only one, E major. E, G sharp, B. So let's give that a try. That actually sounded pretty good. But then why is a C sharp in here? Well, you see, this is where musical theory kind of gets messy. The C sharp is in here because C sharp minor is one of the 4 main chords for E major. And that's why it's in there. But, that's where, experience plays a big role. How do you know which one to believe? Like, do I base my chord off the B? Do I base my chord off the C sharp? It's really tough for you to decide. But that is where experience comes in. But let's say I played C sharp minor instead. I mean, it works, but it just doesn't sound quite right as compared to E major. And this is the part where you really have to just go by trial and error. Which one sounds better to you? Obviously, you can still play C sharp minor, but it's not the right feel that we're going for. So that's experience. Getting the feel and choosing the chords based off feel. And again, if you're not too sure, always go back to ultimateguitar.com to check if you're correct. And this is basically how you figure out the left-hand chords for the entire song. We just gotta continue the process. And the next part is... So we've got A and C sharp in the beginning. Let's go back to the 4 important chords of A major. Which one of them has A and C sharp? There's 2 of them. A major and F sharp minor. Why don't we try both? Let's start with A major. sounds like it could work, but it just doesn't feel like the right chord. So let's try F sharp minor. This actually sounds right. Awesome, so now we've got 3 chords. What's the other chord? We have F sharp and E. Again, F sharp and E, they don't really... There's no triad that has both of them because they're only 2 apart, not 3 apart. So, there's only one more chord in the 4 important chords of, A major that we haven't used. We've already used A major, we've used E major, we used F sharp minor. There's one more that we haven't used, and that's D major. And it has an F sharp in it. And we need an F sharp. So why don't we give it a try? This actually sounds right, but there's one way we can make it better. Because this is an E, what other chord in, out of the 4 main chords in A major has E in it? Well, again, there's 2. There's A major and there's E major. Why don't we try A major to make this sound better? Nah, not quite right, but if we tried E major, and then it'll loop back. Didn't that sound awesome? Instead of just having... We now add the E major in, and we have... And look, we went back to A. Because remember in the fundamental series where I talked about chords and how they loop around? Well, we just figured out the chord progression for sorry. And now we can just loop it around and keep on playing. So let's just do that. Wow, it worked because it's looped. That's the thing about pop songs, is that they loop their chords, and so once you figure out what chords are being looped, you've practically figured out the entire left hand for the entire song. Now there are cases where, where the loop has more than 4 chords, or you have different loops. For example, in Linkin Park's Numb, you have D minor, B flat major, F major. And this is used in the chorus. But in the bridge where it goes, it's using a different chord progression. But that's fine, because when you encounter a different chord progression, then all you have to do is figure that one out. So there we have it. Let's just summarize how we figure out the chords in the left hand. To begin with, if you're not too sure how to, figure out chords with the left hand, go to ultimateguitar.com and verify the chords there. 2, if you really want to start learning how to, figure out the chords in your left hand, you start off by figuring out what notes are played in the right hand. And then from a single note in a chord that you want to figure out, you use that note and list the 5 chords or the 5 triads that can be formed with that one note. So there are two triads where the note is in the root, 1 triad where the note is in the 3rd, and 2 triads where the note is in the 5th. From there on, guess, is it a minor or is it a major? A major sounds happy, a minor sounds sad. From there on, eliminate the chord type which is not being used. So if it's a major, then eliminate the minor chords and just look at the major chords first. Then, out of the major chords, how do you figure out the last one? Well, you play a note after it, and if that note is in one of those chords but not in the other 2, then eliminate it. If it's in all 3, then, okay, it shouldn't be in all 3. If it's in 2, then you find another note in the right hand until you can eliminate it. Now, what if you can't eliminate out of the last 3 chords? There are 2 things you can try. 1, you can try and look at the minors, and 2, you can just go through trial and error. So why don't you just play all 3 until you find the one that sounds correct. Last but not least, there are chords which you can use which can substitute for each other. For example, when I showed you the C sharp minor, it could also be the C sharp minor. It just doesn't sound quite right. So when you cannot eliminate to a single chord, that's when you go by gut feeling, play it, and play whichever one sounds right. And again, if you're still not sure, go to ultimateguitar.com. Now, figuring out the chords is not easy. It's still the part which I really struggle with. And so you really need to practice and practice and practice. Again, these two parts in the first two lessons, these are the parts which probably are the most toughest parts of learning how to play piano by ear. So you've done a great job by coming so far, and I wish you the best of luck in learning this, and I'll see you again in the next lesson. See ya.